And I think we're live right now. First off, everyone, good morning. We're gonna kind of do a little crunch sesh today on this morning's breakfast run. I want to say thank you everyone for tuning in. Apologies about the delay. I know we scheduled for 7. Now it's 7:30. Just we just switched it up last minute, so we are live streaming this right now at the Sky Lobby and the at the Bag. I don't even know what this building's called. Heritage Plaza down in Houston, Texas. And we're gonna make this. We're kind of gonna make this quick today, and we're gonna open it up to the audience out there to kind of ask some questions. We've got a couple things to cover. I know it's a busy day in the life of Hank right now with everything going on right now. And for those that you don't know, this is Hank Porter, the operations manager at Lime Rock Resources. Good morning, Hank.
Morning.
And he was actually just a previous guest on the Energy Crüe podcast, so be sure to check that out if you can. And now we have to I want to thank the sponsor. And I want to thank the sponsor, Royal Completion Tools, for sponsoring the show. And if there's any other inquiries about sponsorship opportunities, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. But we got to play the commercial for it real quick, and then we're going to just kind of get it kicked off. Yeah, I dig it. To all you completion engineers, company men, and consultants out there, are you sick and tired of losing sleep over frac plugs not getting to depth, not holding pressure, or not drilling out properly? Or maybe you aren't getting the best quality and service from the bigs. Well, stop burning the midnight oil and rest at ease while using Royal Frac Plugs, the most reliable and efficient frac plug on the market. Start your successful completions today by getting in touch with Royal Completion Tools. You can contact them via www.royalcompletiontools.com, sales@royalcts.com, or via LinkedIn. Contact them today to check out some of the best frac plugs out there. Okay, and we're back. Well, good morning, everyone, and let's see if what's going on here. Let me see if we can find it. Always got to check to make sure it's okay, and we are live. I dig it. I dig it. I dig it. All right, so hey, look, let's get this kicked off. Obviously, you got a busy schedule today for stuff that's going on in your world right now. What's going on right now over at Lime Rock Resources?
Oil prices up, so we're focused a lot on just any way we can to increase production. So a lot of workover projects, clean out projects. So I've got a lot of different things like that. We just completed a couple new wells, so we're drilling those out, and then we are actually today closing on some new acreage that we take ownership of tomorrow officially. So
you're closing on acreage today that you're taking ownership tomorrow?
Yeah.
All right, so how's that process been, kind of sourcing this deal and I guess this entire process in this market that we're in right now?
Oh, it's just like any other deal, but what we've been focused on the last few weeks is just basically making sure that all the vendors and everybody that they use that we can take over and use immediately with MSAs and are set up with.
So how does that work? Do you have to look at the MSA that they have currently with the old?
No, they have to use ours.
Okay.
So basically we have to identify the current vendors they're using and either onboard them or swap them out to vendors that we already have MSAs with.
Okay.
And so that's been what I've worked on a lot over the last week or so.
How's that process been?
It's been fine. It's always a little bit difficult when some of the vendors are more local.
Yeah.
Because this field is out by Pecos, so some of the people are more local out in that area.
So that's, I guess that's a good thing to kind of dive in a little bit, just kind of speak to, just kind of briefly about. So when you're looking at, I guess, okay, historically, let's say the vendors, with the other operator, and you're trying to onboard them on now, in this market right now, and kind of what you're looking at right now, what are some key components for vendors to have a better chance for, I guess, getting that MSA or doing something like that? Not just with Lime Rock, but also with potentially any other operators, you think?
I mean, if you have a service that we see as usable, I have no problem getting an MSA in place. As long as you don't just, completely trash our MSA and try and rewrite it. But I've got no problem. Anyone who wants to put an MSA in place, and then they can give us prices and we can talk about it after that. It's not a big deal. It's just,
Is it price? Is it ESG? I know obviously we're looking at a lot of things, right? You're looking at a lot of different avenues, but is it price? Is it ESG stuff? Is it safety? Is it personnel? The experience of the personnel?
I think if you're a service in an area that we see as possibly being useful, we'll put an MSA in place with you, and then we'll get pricing and then see if we can use it down the road. but obviously our projects are just changing all the time. So
right.
Like I said, we're doing a lot of production projects at the moment, just trying to get production uplifted. We're planning for next year. So we're working on budgeting for next year. We usually do our budget cycle over the next month or so.
So what's that like? I mean, I guess with the commodity prices being where they're at, and natural gas, with everything being where it's at right now, kind of what's that budgeting process for you?
We're planning a lot more activity. Let's say that.
Okay.
But nothing's official until we actually get the budgets approved.
Right. Even when the budget's approved.
So we have a tentative, plan for what we think we'll budget for next year. We're putting that together. Then we'll run our economic cycles based off of what they think the oil price is going to be and what we think our costs are going to be. And then basically, can we make money with that activity level?
So increased price, increased activity. Is that something that you and your team are excited about and ready for?
Yeah, of course. Why not?
Exactly.
2 years.
I know.
Of course we are.
People are always itching. I think it's funny. It's like, I was talking to a buddy of mine. He's like, look, like, I don't mind looking at these deals and all this stuff, but at the same time, it's like, I'm an engineer. I'm a drilling guy. Like, I want to get back to doing activity I want to get back to drilling wells. I think you're finding a lot of people right now in that kind of that boat right now. So that's exciting stuff, though.
Yeah. It'll be 2022 would be especially compared to the last 2 years, but it'll be a very exciting year for us. A lot of activity and kind of, I guess, I say the challenge for us is we are small, but we have a lot of different fields. So we're currently planning drilling and completion activities for the Bakken, for West Texas, for the Barnett, for Oklahoma.
This is great news right now for people that are tuning in, listening right now. The fact that there's increased activity and I think that's a great indicator right now what's going on in the industry. Maybe not towards the majors. I mean, you're not seeing the majors kind of get back into it as aggressively as you think right now.
Well, everything is being dictated by the banks and how much money you can get from them to go operate. And then they're doing that based off your debt level. We've been very aggressive at paying down our debts, so we're getting in a better place. Some of the majors have a lot more debt to pay down.
Right.
That's what you kind of read about. And until the banks, they pay down a certain percentage of that debt, the banks are not going to be as lean as giving them money to borrow to go spend and drill and complete.
So that kind of brings kind of this look, there's a lot of talk right now what's going on in the industry. I mean, I think the whether it's patient zero or whether it's just something that I'm hearing about right now is pretty much what's going on in the UK, right? Mm-hmm. This whole the winter's coming, energy crunch, prices going up 40% in a couple of days, and I'm not sure how I'm going to segue this into kind of what we were just talking about before, but I mean, I guess with capital, not being in the market, with a lot of people don't have the opportunity to go in and increase production or start drilling wells. I mean, so what is going on right now? I guess that we're seeing over there that we're potentially has the domino effect to cascade over here.
I mean, again, I don't work in UK, but from what I've read, it's a similar thing we're facing here, which is basically call it a lapse in logistical infrastructure.
Okay.
Because basically with the pandemic, what I was reading about the UK, just reading, is that they've lost like something ridiculous, like 50% of their truck driver fleet, or I don't know the percentage.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, apparently they're all their truck drivers for the country are all older and basically just decided to retire. And so it's not something that a lot of younger people are getting into.
Right.
And so apparently there's a huge gasoline and food shortage that they're seeing a lot over there. It's just because they don't have anybody to deliver it. Get it there. And then I think we're seeing some of that too, because every service company I've talked to basically says trucking is a huge issue right now.
Have you seen those tankers lined up? I don't even know what coast it's off of. Like I'm not sure what dominoes are being set up right now, and I don't know. I'm not an economic.
Well, and I think all those tankers are sitting out there because they don't have any way to get it off, like get it out, get it delivered. I mean, that's part of the trucking shortage.
Right. So what is all this stuff that kind of lines up? And also, don't get me wrong, it's also the push for the green deals I see is, and look, I'm all for renewables. I'm all for it, but at the same time, there needs to be a balance. And we've talked about this. Obviously, it's a Prius mindset. We need fossil fuels, and also we need it's energy. It's energy to supply the increasing population, all that stuff. But what you're seeing right now with the reduced whether it's inventory levels being lower and whether it's the tankers being, do you feel like we're kind of staring down the barrel of kind of an insane time right now in our industry?
Yeah, because it's going to be a it seemed like every time we face a challenge, it's always a different challenge.
Right.
Because of those logistical issues, we can't ramp up. Like when the demand does come up and our production falls, the ability to ramp up quickly, I don't think it's going to be there.
Which historically we used to do.
Historically since the shell booms, we've been able to ramp up really fast. And just with the restrictions from the banks and restrictions with the logistics, and until we get all that in place, and I don't know if it's going to be called paying the labor forces more money or what's going to help to get that back into balance. I'm not sure, but everything's out of balance right now.
I feel like everything is not just oil and gas; it's technology. I mean, there's back orders on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, well, truck drivers is not affecting. I mean, think about the meat shortages they had at one point. I mean, it's affecting everything.
Yeah.
And so, again, I have no idea what's going to take to get it, everybody back to where we were. I don't think we understand kind of the impact of kind of what we're seeing right now on the potential disruptions in everyone's life right now. So let's actually, you know what? We got about 17 minutes right now before you have to, because you got a lot going on right now. You're closing that deal tomorrow. You're taking ownership, which I dig. I'm excited about that. And I know that you got a lot on your plate right now. So I don't, unless you want to bring anything up, I wouldn't mind opening up to the audience right now to see kind of. Because I gotta.
See, I gotta go too. I'm busy too. All right, I got a lot of stuff going on too, Hank. All right, so let's see what we got. Okay, Danny Salinas says, "Great news. Great news is being that activity is going to be going up and increasing, and I think they're closing on a deal. So, all positive things right now for Lime Rock Resources." Ronnie says, "Good convo." Well, thanks. I appreciate that. We're trying to make good convo. Great questions and great insight. Thanks, gentlemen. No problem. And if anyone's got any questions back there, I know that he's kind of pressed for time right now, but we still got about 5 to 10 minutes right now to kind of bring up anything. If anyone's any questions right now, whether it's increasing, whether the new deal that's going on, activity, or just kind of if you're just kind of sitting on the sideline, just kind of wanting to learn something about Hank and more what's going on in his life, his personal life. First off, you can probably check out the podcast. So, what do you think about the podcast? You dig it?
I haven't listened to it. Am I supposed to?
Well, I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I hate hearing my voice. I try not to listen to it too. But have you heard any feedback from it?
Yeah, I've got some good feedback. My wife said at first, she's like, "It doesn't sound like you." She's like, "But it sounds like you." It's just, I was like, "Well, that's my work voice."
It's my work. Yeah. It's like whenever you call someone at work and they're in the office, they have that business voice. Well, I'm not sure who's. Let's see if there's any. No, I guess not. So, okay. Roy Strawn chiming in. Thanks, Roy, with Intrepid. Are you seeing deal value reflect the positive commodity prices? Good question.
Yes. And no. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's going to have an effect on it, but I don't know how much people believe it. So there's a lot of negotiations, I would say, over where you think it's really going to fall from a commodity standpoint. I mean, obviously some areas... It's been interesting because there's a couple different things that have dictated kind of the price of deals.
Okay.
But commodity prices obviously always have a factor into it too.
Is that the main thing that kind of dictates the deals, the commodity price, or is it historically purchase price? I don't know.
Yes and no. It's not a simple answer. That's not something that I'm. Historically is my background. I'm learning more about as I work at this job.
Right.
But there's a lot of different factors. I mean, obviously, your base production, what your decline is, what you think you can forecast for your cash flow long term, what the upside is dictates it, and the deals, what offset acreage is selling for.
Okay.
I mean, a few deals were made to Bakken earlier this year that really high value, so everyone jumped up their value. Had commodity prices come up yet? No, not necessarily.
But is that new home that's built right next to you? That's kind of
it's kind of like real estate. When someone sets a price, someone sells a value at, acreage kind of works the same.
So it's so the answer is yes and no.
Yeah.
So that's a great question, Roy.
Definitely does. It's just not. I wouldn't say the main factor.
Okay. All right. Jordan says, "Good morning, gents. Good morning, Jordan. How you doing, buddy? Let's see what else we got. What part did this is Brandon Webb with H&P. What part did ESG play in the deal that will be that'll be closing?"
I mean, it is ESG is. Let me say this. It's not necessarily a factor in the deal when you run the economics, but it is a factor in the deal for how you want to develop it.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Okay.
I mean, ESG has become a factor in everything. I mean, we've generated an ESG committee, and we meet monthly, and we discuss ESG projects, and then how can we develop and improve.
Right.
Because obviously, like a big thing is carbon emissions and gas capture. So when you're buying new fields, what is their gas capture, and then what can we improve on?
Right.
So it's a factor. It's definitely a conversation.
I got so many questions.
Pretty much always going on.
I got so many questions about that, but I know we're kind of pressed for time, and I think we're going to have two more questions right now. One from my brother from another mother, Marshall Brown, up in Alaska. You know Marshall? You know Marshall?
Yeah, he's in North Dakota right now.
Ooh, yeah, I don't know. Where are you at? We'll find out. As work ramps up and Lime Rock gets busier, do you see Lime Rock picking employees or fill the gap with consultants? Do you think other operators go the same route? That's a great question right now because, there's a lot of, actually, I'm not even going to expand on that just because of time crunch. That's a great question.
Again, it's a yes and no.
Okay.
Well, because we're always buying and selling acreage and kind of trying to forecast our activity level. It's a situation. We've done both historically.
Okay.
We've brought in contractors. We've also brought in full-time employees. It's just kind of what we are forecasting for, like our next 2-year activity level.
So pretty much how you're forecasting and planning out, it depends if the project will require intense personnel focus on. If that's the case, you hire employees. If not, if it's drilling a well off here,
because we've got engineer works for me in North Dakota. We originally brought him on as a contractor.
Okay.
And after 6 months as a contractor or something like that, we brought him on as full-time employee. Okay. Once we realized the activity level was going to stay up.
Activity level is a good fit, yeah.
And we got another guy we did the same thing with, but then I've got a couple engineers that were kind of more replacements of people who left going to other jobs that were full-time replacements. So the answer is both.
Yes and no.
We've got a lot of moving parts for the next couple months, so I don't know which avenue we would go with because we're still trying to figure out what we think our activity level is going to be beyond next year.
That's exciting, though. I'm excited for y'all, seriously. All right, and let's go. Ethan Etzel, my buddy with Royal Completion Tools, the sponsor of the show. Thank you, Ethan. With the volatility of oil and gas, how do we expect to pull transportation back from Amazon and other consistent logistical segments? Oof.
It's going to start with. Unfortunately, it's going to start with paying more.
Okay.
I was talking to one of my field guys the other day who said that in Oklahoma that they were losing workover rig hands because they were getting paid the same amount to work at a convenience store.
Convenience, really?
Yeah. God. And so I was like, whoa.
That's insane.
So at some point, it's going to the costs are going to have to come up. We're just going to drive the cost back to the service company. We're just going to drive the cost back to the operator. So, pricing, I'm forecasting significant cost increase across the board for next year.
So when this happens, when the cost increase does happen, I guess the one thing that as an operator you're expecting is just to have the communication, just to say what's going up and why and all that stuff. That way you can adjust your budget or kind of your expectations to that. That way you're not hit with something 30% more than what you're historically seeing it.
No, and I realize, I've been on both sides of the business. I know that the service company prices are dictated by their providers.
Yeah.
And it goes back and back and back into the point of manufacturing, and it goes back to sourcing raw materials, which it's all gonna, it's gonna be a domino effect, like you said earlier. It's gonna all hit and continue to go up. Hopefully, we can find a balance where we can all, come to a happy place. But it's
going to take a little bit. Yeah, it's going to take a little bit. That's true. Justin, let's do a couple shout outs. Justin, good morning, guys from Oilfield. Great conversation. Thank you, Martine Pitts. Morning, boys. Morning, Martine Pitts. And then in the great North Dakota at the moment. Well, hope you're having fun up there, buddy. And look, Danny, obviously Danny's got to say good morning to us right now. But hey, look, I know you got to run. Everyone, I know this is kind of a short one. I know it was kind of delayed, but honestly, I'm kind of pumped to get 5 minutes of this guy's time right now with everything going on in his world right now. And if you want to hear more about him, obviously reach out to him, connect him on LinkedIn. Again, this is Hank Porter, the operations manager at Lime Rock Resources, or you can always tune into the Energy Crüe podcast. And that's Crüe like Motley Crue. But honestly, I don't have anything. I know you got to get back. I really do appreciate this.
This is like a real breakfast run.
This is like a real breakfast run. Yeah,
it's like run in for 2 minutes, grab a kolache and run out because I got to go to another meeting.
And I always try to extend the conversation, that extra 30 seconds. Like, dude, I got to go to my office. Yeah. I get it. Well, everyone, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I want to thank Royal Completion Tools. I want to thank all the questions out there. Marshall, stay safe and all that stuff. someone said, great conversation, gentlemen. Thank you. Hey, good luck to you and the team, man. I look forward to hearing about y'all's success. And we'll take it easy. Before you get up, let's unplug that. All right. We'll see you later. You're good, man. Yep. Thank you. Everyone, I want to thank y'all for tuning in to this morning's breakfast run. Yeah, do it. You got to go. I dig it. So I appreciate everyone that tuning in. And again, I think next week, if you go to connectioncrew.com, you will see the upcoming live stream breakfast runs that we have scheduled. And I think next week, if you can bear with me for about 2 seconds, I'll check real quick. We have... And another benefit of coming here this morning, I ran into my good buddy Byron Olson with Maverick. So let's see. Okay. So the upcoming breakfast runs that we have is we have Justin Pritchard Jones, the principal production engineer at Trinity Operating, who is going to be on Thursday, October 28th at 8 a.m. And obviously you can find all the updated breakfast runs through there. And I think next Wednesday, we have Bo Clark, the EVP of Reservoir and Finance for Barton Creek Resources. And again, that's Bo Clark next Wednesday. So mark your calendars now. I'll be setting up an event or whatever you want to call it at that's Wednesday, October 13th at 8:15 a.m. And then on October 28th is Justin Pritchard Jones at 8 a.m. I'm looking forward to both of them. Great people, and I'm looking forward to catching up with all of them. So there might be some more that pop up along the way, so make sure you just kind of tune in and subscribe to connectioncrew.com. And again, everyone, I want to wish everyone a beautiful rest of the day. It's wonderful down here in Houston. I'm not sure if you can see the skyline, but I'll tilt that up for you. And I think thanks for the support, everyone, and have a great day. Marshall, I miss you, buddy. Hope all's well, amigo.